up so you could see my dinosaur t-shirt while I was giving this. However, I don't have an external microphone with me, so to make things better for everybody, I'm just going to sit down and read it to make sure it's more important for you to hear me. Think back to your earliest memories. Are they from grade school or from before you started school? If you had a box of mementos from your preschool days, what would be in it? Probably a favorite toy, a blanket, perhaps a baby shoe or other piece of clothing, and maybe a piece of paper or a book with some crayons scribbled on it. If you had a box from your grade school days, it might include more of what you produced. Early handwriting exercises, later stories of increasing length and complexity as you went through the years, but based on what you knew of the world at the time. The box from junior high or middle school would show your developing imagination, pictures of monsters, fantastic stories, incredible artwork. Your high school box would show you maturing and producing stories and essays similar to what you write today, though perhaps with greater, grander ideas. Our planet had a similar childhood, though the time scale was vastly different. And instead of mementos, it has layers of fossil-bearing rocks that geologists use to define time periods. I'm going to use this metaphor to give you a simplified, but accurate enough, understanding of the geologic time scale. The Earth's preschool year period was longer than ours. Instead of 4 years, it was 4 billion years. It's called the Precambrian. Like our own memento boxes, which contain mostly objects, the Earth's memories of this time are preserved mostly as rocks. If you've been up to the North Shore, you've seen billion-year-old lava flows and the agates that some people are lucky enough to find. They were formed in the air bubbles within those flows. It's not all lifeless, though, for like the crayon-marked paper in our boxes, we do find life, such as blue-green algae and other simple life forms, mostly living in water. Just as our mementos from grade school include more and more products of our minds, handwriting, stories, artwork, the rocks from the Cambrian period contain a multitude of varying life forms. Stephen Jay Gould's book, Wonderful Life, describes a Burgess Shale, a fantastic rock formation in Canada that contains a mass of fossils that's truly full of wonder. Organisms that apparently left no descendants, and some who left us. The Cambrian is the first period in the eon known as the Paleozoic. Paleo means old, like paleontology is the study of old things. And zoic refers to animals. It's from the same Greek root as zoo. Well, during this time, life began to appear on land. About 390 million years ago, a species of lobe-finned fish that scientists named Tiktaalik crawled out of the ocean. This was around the time when the limestone cliffs by the U of M were being deposited on the deep ocean floor. To learn more about Tiktaalik and the hunt for him and how the transition from the ocean to land still shows in our bodies, read Your Inner Fish by Neil Shubin. Fantastic book. Now, the reward of migrating from the sea was a new food source, land plants. These plants competed with each other for sunlight, and around 50 to 100 million years after Tiktaalik, they developed trunks that enabled them to grow towards the sky as trees. Trees that produce significantly more oxygen than the bushes from which they evolved. The oxygen level in the atmosphere increased, which allowed insects to grow to incredible sizes. Missing from the ecosystem, however, were bacteria and insects that could digest wood. So as the trees died up, they just piled up and eventually, over time, compressed down into coal. Then about 250 million years ago, remember we started at 500 million with the Cambrian. At 250 million years ago, the Paleozoic came to a dramatic close when volcanoes in what is now Siberia began erupting. On its way up, the lava flowed through those coal deposits and released carbon from those buried trees into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. The atmosphere heated up, and for several million years, the climate varied from cold to hot and wet and rain to freezing cold. 9 out of 10 species went extinct. You thought your transition to junior high was hard. A great animation that shows this is in, I believe it's episode 9 of the 2013 version of Cosmos. Now, middle school for the Earth is called the Mesozoic. Meso meaning middle animals. And just as our memento box from our junior high days might include fantastic writing and artwork, perhaps imagined dinosaurs, life forms from the Mesozoic were just as fantastic, because it includes what might be the most well-known geologic time period, the Jurassic. Out of the ruins of the Paleozoic, life rebounded. Conditions favored the development and spread of what would become the dinosaurs, while our mammalian ancestors slowly developed during the 3 periods of the Mesozoic, the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. You probably have a good image of what life was like in the dinosaur days. Though I will point out that since even the youngest of us were in grade school, scientists have learned a lot more about dinosaurs. Middle school for the Earth ended with a bang when a meteor between 6 and 10 miles across struck what is now the Gulf of Mexico. This was 66 million years ago. Sent dirt and rocks into the sky and left a crater over 100 miles across. About 3/4 of species went extinct, leaving small dinosaurs that would eventually evolve into birds and a variety of animals, including the mouse-sized primates that would evolve into us. And interestingly, that I learned this past weekend on the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, flight developed at least 3 different times among the dinosaurs, but only one branch, the avian dinosaurs, continued on. High school for the Earth is called the Cenozoic, meaning new animals. Without the competition from the large dinosaurs, we mammals flourished and grew. And like our writing in high school, it assumed the form we knew today, though in some cases much larger and grander. If you've ever seen pictures of the giant elks, the giant saber-toothed cats, and all the other magnificent features. So just like we track, our parents probably track our progress through life through boxes of mementos, the Earth preserves it in fossils. Madam Toastmaster.